Hello and welcome to the 4Ps podcast. First, let me start off by stating how much I love this podcast. I love doing what I do, meeting people all over the world, learning new things, doing new things. Think about this. About a year and a half ago, all I did was play beer league hockey. Now I'm about ready I'm preparing for a massive turf games in Sydney, Australia during CrossFit. Never did CrossFit in my life, and then at 55 years old, I'm going to do a very large event. I've been doing events before during this time and training during this time, but now looking forward to doing an event in Sydney, Australia. While I am in Sydney, Australia, I'm going to be doing a great event with Philip McDonald, who was a guest on the show and all of a sudden became my brother for some reason. I have no idea how he did it, but he is an awesome man. He's a great guy. Just had knee surgery. I hope you are feeling better. As a matter of fact, I talk to him all the time. He is getting a lot better. He is showing his strength on that as well. But we are going to be doing an event. I hope his knees get a lot better because we are going to be doing a lot of bike riding here in April of 2026. But the other reason why I love this show is listening to stories of how people get over adversity. For example, Savvy Steve Cleary, he is from New Zealand. And during COVID, when everybody was on lockdown, everybody, nothing grew during that time. However, Steve found a way to make sure that things do grow, and he ended up building rocket fuel during that time, and he has done an outstanding job with an outstanding product. And by the way, rocket fuel is one of our sponsors. I'm not even going to hide that, and make sure you buy your rocket fuel, please. It is very good. I use it. Speaking of CrossFit, that's what I use to make sure that I can, at 54, almost 55 years old, that just keeps me going. I kid you not. You're really going to love that stuff. But I'm not talking about that right now. I'm also talking about Sundari, who was on this program. She's from Germany. Actually, she's from New York originally. She's from now she lives in Germany, and how she the pain of her mother, losing her mother, and then turning it into a business, not the loss of her mother, but helping people cope with that transition into the great beyond. I love her story and what she has done. We could even go back even further with Amanda Woodall, a dear friend of mine who took what she went through, dealing with weight loss, dealing with all these different things, and now turning it into a health business, and she is doing quite well in Indiana. And that was my very first guest. So we have all these great guests, and today is no different. Today is absolutely no different. We have Samantha Miller on our program today. And Samantha Miller, when you listen to her story, when you hear what she has to say, you're going to be amazed. She has started a skincare business. It's called the Naked Chemist, and she is doing things that, me as a business professor by trade, listening to what she is doing right now with this company kind of makes me wonder, are these textbooks that I used to teach out of, are they the right thing? But when we come back, we will be talking to Samantha Miller. We'll be right back right after this.
See you, Matt. She's doing yourself. Hey crew, I'm just down at Phillip Island checking out some of the GP bikes and going through some teams. Come across this young fella, showing him the rocket fuel. What does he do?
Always went out of my bag.
Jesus.
I love it. It's good stuff.
How long have you been using it, brother?
Oh, a couple of years now. 2 years I've been using it.
I just heard the story of his first time use. You've got to listen.
So the first time I used it, I was in a bit of a rush trying to get to the gym. Quickly go to the bottom, I just seen 4. So I just grabbed 4 of the full droppers I took. Instead of 4 drops, 4 full droppers. And my head nearly exploded. I thought I was going to die, but then when it came good, put $1 million. I just need the body to equalise for about 5 minutes.
Here we are, looking in with the team, what comes out of his bag.
Well, let me try it. I'm off. What's up? Yeah, it's good. That's it, mate. Is it hot? Tastes alright. Careful, there's little bits. It's good for it. Feel better now.
Yeah, really.
You love it?
Good, yeah, love it. I really do love it. It's a good product.
Let's go.
today at savvytouch.com and use code Goggins for a 15% discount.
Welcome back to the Four Piece Podcast. I am here with a very, very beautiful guest from New Zealand, even though that's not where she's from originally. We're going to talk about that a little bit here in a second. She is in New Zealand. Her name is Samantha Miller. Welcome to the program.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Yeah,
Good.
really great.
You know, I always have to ask this because when I am in the blazing hots of summer, and you are not, you are actually in New Zealand, it is not blazing hot right there. How's the temperature in New Zealand right now?
You know, we did have a storm the past few days, but we've had a fantastic winter. It's been like English summer days right here. We're very, very blessed. Beach
Wow.
weather. Yeah.
That is
But
awesome.
we never really gets cold here, so yeah. But we have had a storm for the past few days. It was very, very wild. Yeah.
Beautiful. You know, I am a recent fan. So I went to Australia back in March, right? March of this year. I go to Australia. I'm going to go back again next March. A matter of fact, a mutual friend of ours actually conned me into a CrossFit competition. So her and I am saying conned, and I know she watches my program, Joe Jackson got me into CrossFit. Now, originally, I would say it's a con. Now it is a straight addiction. Okay, I love CrossFit. It is so much fun. You come home sore every time you get done with the workout. You're in the gym. You're getting trained. Every time you come home with a workout, you actually lay on the gym floor for maybe about 3 or 4 minutes before you get up and walk out. I mean, you literally leave your soul in the gym, and then you come back. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, so we're gonna go there. But one thing happened when I was in that area is I fell in love with, in addition to CrossFit and the weather and the people, I fell in love with rugby and Australian rules football. But even though I was in Australia and I fell in love with rugby, my favorite rugby player is in your country, and her name is Portia Woodman. Have you ever heard of her?
No, unfortunately,
She-
I'm not a big rugby fan.
Wow, I wasn't until like a couple months ago. And Portia Woodman, she plays for the Black Ferns, which is the female all black
Yeah.
team. And I saw a clip of her running, and she is a literal beast. I've
Wow.
seen her. There's a clip of her playing, and she's carrying the rugby ball in one hand and an opponent in the other, and was running, and then dropped her and kept on running. And at that point, I was like, "This is my favorite player. I need to see more clips of her." And she retired, and I was literally going to go from Australia to New Zealand just to watch one rugby game with her in it, and then she retired. But now she's back. So she returned to the sport, thank God, and I've been watching all the time, and I'm not wearing it right now, even though I am wearing a black shirt, but I have an all-black rugby shirt.
I love that.
It is awesome, and I do
I
walk
do love
around.
the atmosphere. Obviously, the atmosphere when they win over here is absolutely
It
amazing.
has to be. It
But I
has to
feel
be.
a podcast coming up with her, hey?
You know what? I feel a podcast coming up with her as well. I would love to have her on this show, but I think it would be, my wife said that I have a fan crush on her, whatever that's called or whatever it was. And I do. I mean, I have to admit it. I think if I was on the show, I would kind of stutter a little bit and like, wow, so could you tell me about that time you did? Yeah, and that's just going to
I'm
be,
gonna have to look her up now, actually.
yeah. Oh,
And
she is,
shout out to
she's,
Joe, by the way.
hello, Joe. I hope she'll hear it.
She's
Yeah.
great. She's mentored me in the past.
She's a great
Wonderful.
person. You
Yeah.
know, speaking about mentoring, in the past, you lived and live a very exciting life. You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You have your own skincare. It's called the Naked Chemist, is that right?
Naked Chemist, yeah.
Yeah,
And nature
and,
meets science, yeah.
And it's
Skin
beautiful. And we were talking before the recording, and you were talking about how unique your business is because it's growing worldwide, but it's growing just based on blogging and things like that. Could you tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about what you do?
So basically, my background's international spa management, and well, I've been working directly with the skin for about 30 32 years, so quite a long time. So what I don't know about the skin, there's not much to know, to be honest. And I just thought about 8 years ago, I'm going to start writing and publishing some articles just to help readers about the skin. But the back behind that, I also learned some keyword research. And I guess this was a little bit before really Instagram, maybe Facebook was around. But I just wanted to really write articles. From there, people were like putting comments about their skin. And I worked with another chemist, and we started doing a few products around that. And then the range grew from that. But actually, my business, which is online, is all from blogging. I mean, no Instagram, no Facebook sales, no marketing, nothing. And it is really quite a successful business. Sometimes I'm like, call it God, call it what you want. And I know that we have I've got 5-star Trustpilot reviews only. And I know that we are in a lot of Reddit communities and things about helping people to heal their skin. And one thing, yeah, so I think just going back to the business side of things, I think it's really, really important that businesses don't lose sight of when people go to a website, they are definitely going to go to the blogs to look for credibility, how many blogs that they've got. And blogs and really good articles around your business will bring people to you. And that's all I've ever done. But it's got to be, you've got to be using keywords and things like that to drive people. But funnily enough, Trunnis, not only this side of the business with the skincare, which I will talk about more, I've started this other side of the business where other website owners come to me and they come to us and they pay to put articles on our website and have links back to their website. So that seems to be another side of the business that started growing.
Well, so you've actually taken your blog and made money on the blog.
Yes.
Because now that's smart.
I don't know. I mean, I don't understand much about that SEO side, but people pay us around $100 for an article, around 50 for a link to drive traffic to their site to get their articles higher and more liked by Google, I suppose. So now we have this other side of the business, so it's really quite unusual.
That is a true entrepreneur.
I have a business by accident. I have 2 businesses somehow by accident, but I love helping people with their skin, and I do understand a lot about the skin. And so I do have also a background in chemistry, but essentially, having worked with the skin for 30 years, I just know so much about it. I'm 50, have to check this, 55. I've never had Botox. I've never had fillers. I understand that working with natural skincare and certain ingredients like your peptides, your vitamin A, that you can reverse a lot of the signs of aging, you know. Plus, my skin's incredibly sensitive, so I have to be really careful what I put on it myself, which is how I got to this journey. But I once wrote an article, I'm digressing a bit, about microneedling, and it went viral. And I would say I probably get 10 emails a week from people who have had their skin destroyed by microneedling. And I spend a lot of time helping people, and we have a little clinic here helping people reverse the problems that they've had with microneedling and some laser as well. So it's like a big warning to people to be really careful with their skin, because with microneedling there's much that can't be undone once they get a granulosome infection in the immune layer of their skin. And I have seen some terrible things like collagen and elastin breaking down, inflammation. It's actually it's getting to be a really big problem.
And I've seen a lot of people when they get plastic surgery and get injections and things like that, that it can actually, not only can lead to worse skin, but it can also lead to serious medical issues.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a place, and everybody each to their own, you know, when it comes to having that done. But I think that you really, with so much on Instagram and TikTok, and I think that people should just be really careful with their skin. It's really thin. It's about 12 millimeters, especially like 7 around the eyes. So what you're working with is a very, very fragile canvas that has a barrier around it, and it has an acid mantle which is there to protect you. The minute we start layering on all of these products and using all of these treatments, you're going to start really damaging and breaking down your skin. I mean, a lot of women have a lot more problems than men. Yes, men's skin is thicker, but we tend to be applying too many topicals and going for too many different treatments. So yes, I have a skincare range which is natural for the most part, but I understand that there are certain ingredients that we need to use to ward off signs of aging, to calm the skin, to keep it protected, to keep the barrier intact. But less is always going to be best. So, you've got these 10-step routines going on and things like that. I mean, cleanse, maybe a double cleanse, couple of serums, moisturizer, and never ever forget your sunscreen.
There you go.
So,
yes.
And that goes to guys as well, especially like here.
And it goes to my son, and I'm glad you said that. I have a son who decides that it's not really cool to wear sunscreen. Every time we go to the beach, he's burnt. Every single time. Yeah.
I mean, that's a really, really bad practice he has.
Horrible practice.
Terrible.
Thank you.
I mean,
and since we're calling people out, Zachary Goggins, if you're listening right now, which it's dad, so he's probably not. But please put on the sunscreen. Listen to Samantha. If you're not going to listen to me, listen to Samantha.
I used to teach as well, so being in education, the first thing I'd always say to my students, and like if you look in France, they're treating the head from here to here, the décolleté as well, backs of hands and the arms. So I would say, I mean, I'm not saying go mad with your sunscreen, but 2 or 3 times a day, you need to be applying it from here to here in the backs of the hands and the arms. Just wear a hat. I mean, because at the end of the day, it leads to inflammation, which is the most dangerous thing as well. So inflammation in the skin, and if nothing else, it's really aging. That's what we call it in the industry, inflammation. But yeah, I mean, I've lost quite a few, and this is in the UK, at least 3 people to skin cancer from the sun. So it is really important that you cover up.
Yeah, when you say you lost them in the UK, I mean, that sun never shines up there. I mean,
no,
funny,
not really.
but still, it's kind of dreary. Speaking about the UK, you are not originally from New Zealand. You come from the UK. Interesting story that you kind of told me before we got started. Tell us a little bit about your journey in back home in the UK.
So in the UK, my parents were into my father was into tunnelling, so he'd be caulking all the tunnels, and they also did renovated properties in the middle of nowhere. It's a bit like the Good Life. So I was always collecting lotions and potions like herbs, trying to preserve them. Apparently, at the age of 3. Just getting really upset about not being able to do that. And I also had a lot of eczema and psoriasis growing up, so constantly using different ointments and things to try and heal my skin. So that was another journey. But always having chemistry sets growing up, living in the middle of nowhere. We were always like collecting herbs, and it was really very much back to nature. Then my parents went into nursing homes, and but unfortunately my father got ill. He got asbestos, and so that business sort of we sold the family business, and my background, I went into international spa management and hotel management, and just working with people's skin, had my own clinic, but always loved New Zealand. And always was quite obsessed with the skincare products over here and the clean, green sort of environment. So when I had an opportunity to move to Australia, actually, I ended up coming over here and just absolutely loved it. There's definitely something about New Zealand. There really is. I mean, in the UK, had a lot of skin conditions growing up. So from our own. My nan was also quite the sort of herbalist, really understood herbs really well, and went on this journey to understand how to cure myself topically and internally whilst not being on steroids, because that can cause a whole host of problems, and was able to reverse my own skin conditions. So that journey with the love of plants and love of herbs really came into its own over here, where we harness a lot of the herbs like kawa and manuka, kofi and pahutakawa to help treat people's skin. But New Zealand is really special. I was often very ill in the UK. I'd always get like a lot of tonsillitis and colds and flus. Coming here, the environment's just completely different.
Yes.
Like rainforest, we're surrounded by rainforests, lots of trees, lots of different plants, and it really is a very, very special country in many respects.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Very special countries, special people.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It really is.
We really
Looking
are
forward
going
to-
back to nature in
Yeah.
many, yeah.
And I will be there also in the spring of 26, and I am absolutely looking forward to that.
You have to look me up and we'll say hi.
You know that. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I will. You know,
Absolutely.
another thing, you seem like a person, and you are a person, that you are in great control. I mean, here you are. You're a single woman who owns her own business. You are so good at what you do that other companies actually come to you to try to expand their business. And that's so professionally. I mean, it's beautiful. We were talking a little bit before the interview started. You kind of brought up relationships, and one thing that we talk about, it's even on this show, we talk about it a lot. We talk about that, your personal facade, your professional facade, sometimes they don't balance all the time. And you might be doing great in one area and really crappy in another area, or whatever, vice versa, however it goes. You brought up something about your situation. Would you mind sharing a little bit?
Yeah, 8 years ago, I met a very successful gentleman over here, and we started a relationship, and it was a whirlwind. Within 6 months, we were engaged in Paris, and it was amazing. And then I didn't have to work, so I didn't work. But I had 4 properties. He was like, sell your properties and we'll get something together. So I did. Within the first 6 months, I went back to England, sold my properties, and I had one here as well. And then this sort of jealousy side started coming in, because you don't really notice it in the beginning. And I'm quite an independent person. I would say I'm a free spirit, but I'm a very loyal person. And this control started coming in. So I wasn't like allowed to work if I wanted to. And it was sell all your properties. And so I can't really explain. The relationship wasn't like a normal relationship where you become
Right.
all in and then you go and get a house together. And it was just very much he's functioning in his business and I had my business. But I'd go out with my friends and there was a lot of jealousy. And if I'd really listened and seen the red flags, he had talked about his 2 previous relationships and how they'd been having affairs with all these people and things. But it wasn't until about a year in or 8 months where he accused me of one day sleeping with, or maybe sleeping with the person that does the pool. And that was really weird, and he let that go, and this control got worse and worse to the point where private detectives, when I went out 3 times with my friends, then I had to do a lie detector test with an ex-FBI agent, which I didn't want to do.
You had to?
Hey?
You had to.
I didn't want to do it, but in the end, he said he'd never accuse me again. So I did it, and that was fine. Like, but he'd also tried to accuse the FBI investigator, who was 70, that I should I slept with him for the result. I mean, like, really, it was crazy.
Wow.
So, and it was quite a violent relationship, and one situation had happened where, yeah, he headbutted me unconscious, and I'd end up in hospital. But the police were off duty, and they saw, and they took him away.
Good.
Yeah. So one thing led to another, and it's really a lot. And there was a lot of violence within that relationship. Yeah. And I'm a very independent person, and if you'd asked Samantha before that relationship, if somebody was having a conversation like this, I'd be like, oh my gosh, why didn't you get out? But I didn't know about trauma bonding, and I don't know, like, I can't really explain. It's battered wife syndrome as well, I think. And
Yeah.
so, and in the end, in the community, he told, I was doing a retreat, because I sometimes run retreats as well, little ones from home. And I just got a message, and it was like, you've been having an affair with this person locally. The bartender told me, and I tried to get into our sort of joint home, and the gates were up and I couldn't get in. And he told people in the local village. It was ridiculous. Like, my age, I never, in 8 years. So, yeah, it was really crazy. And some things happened, and anyway, totally digressed. But it's definitely a warning for many people out there. It's somehow you just get entrenched, and then you move in with them, and the next thing. And the thing is, I never told anybody. I never spoke to anybody about what was going on, but friends could see things on me, and yeah.
If you, and again, like I said, if we're talking about a very successful business person in Samantha Miller. We really are. I mean, that's who I see. I see a very well put together individual. I see somebody who is very strong. Okay. But we all go through issues. I mean, all of us we get trapped into something. It could be at any time at any point in our life. I don't think there's anybody out there that relationship wise, job wise, some wise, get caught up in something and like, oh my God, what did I just waste my time on? But what you have done is the recovery process and the rebound process and the determination and motivation and the perseverance and the persistence that you've gone through is amazing. There are people that listen to my podcast from all walks of life, and there are people probably in this podcast right now, and I hate to say it, there are probably people listening to this podcast right now that are like, holy shit, I'm in the same predicament. You have an opportunity right now. You are somebody who's rebounded and you have shown some strength. What would you tell that person right now?
It's not going to be easy. Try and get a support system around. The thing is, don't stay. It's never going to get any better. I never forget in the early days, and I was sat in the police car and they were taking me to hospital, and he turned to me and he said he's never done this before, it never happened. He said if somebody's going to be like that, he said it will happen over and over again. It's never going to get any better. So my advice would be, as hard as it is, just get up and listen to that inner voice and leave. Get a backbone and leave. Honestly, and try and get a support system around you. Because the thing is, you're not talking about it to people as well, probably. Because you become ashamed. Or what you actually do, what they're doing is you decompartmentalize what's going on in your head. It's actually a name for it. So it's like you try and pretend it's not happening. So you just have to leave no matter how hard it is, and try and get some support. Yeah.
And one thing I want everybody to know, and I want everybody to hear what she said, and what she, being Samantha, said in the very beginning. He told her to sell property. He told her to give up control. okay, and give up that foundation, whatever foundation. When you see, because what happens at that point is once they become, they being the victim of abuse, once they have or they see no other outlet, they're done. So if you are in a situation, and I'm saying this, if you are in a situation where you have someone you are with right now that say, hey, spend time with my family, let's not spend time with yours, that's right there, you get the hell out of there. You get out of there. If you have a situation like in Samantha's case where, hey, I know you have this house and this property or something like that. I mean, now me, if my wife had extra property or something like that, I say, okay, how are we going to make money off of that? Let's rent it or do something with it. I mean, that's great. I'm glad you're bringing property into this. That makes me look better. So let's have a good time, right? But once you see people trying to take away your resources, whether it be familial, friends, property, career, something like that, once that person, male or female, start trying to take away your resources, it's time to go. No doubt about it. Before the abuse starts, because they're setting you up. Go ahead.
The control is phenomenal, and you don't even know it's sort of insidious. It creeps in over time. So for me, I wasn't allowed to work because I should be ashamed of my industry, right? And then, okay, so I'm trying to build my business here, because remember, I was building my business over these 8 years.
Right.
So I've got my houses and money in the UK. Then are we going to live like a couple? You're going to give me money? Well, I'll give you money. I'll pay for your food. I'll pay for your accommodation, which is my house. But it's like the control is phenomenal, because it's
Absolutely.
like, well, it was like crazy, because I'd be like, well, I can't work, so I need to have some income coming in. I've got my business, which I'm building up. But obviously, that's when you're building up a business, you're continually reinvesting in it. But
Absolutely.
You'll go out and play poker and spend $2,000 on that a week.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what that noise is, but yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's the joy of podcasting. It's
So
fun.
it is, it doesn't just happen overnight.
It
So
doesn't.
I think just red flags, warning signs, just to be really aware of. But I think if you're in it, you really... You do know that you are, and you do know what's going on, but it's sometimes easier to stay scary. So what happens with control as well, they do everything for you, so you start to forget how to function on your own. It's
Absolutely.
really crazy how the brain works. So,
Last question I'm going to ask you. What is, you're 55 years young, okay? What is in the cards for Samantha Miller from here on out?
Well, in the future, I hope to meet somebody. But with my business, really, I never really see myself retiring. I just want to keep on helping people heal their skin, which makes them feel better about themselves. So, yeah, just to continually growing the business. I'm already in the States, in Australia, hopefully get into big box retail in the future. And, yeah, that's in the cards for me, really, in the future. I'm already on that track, so... Yeah,
You are.
And
You're well on that track.
I think getting to understand me now, and I think everybody should do that. Bring yourself back to yourself. Understand you, and get a foundation, a very strong foundation for myself.
Absolutely. Samantha Miller, great person. You are going to see how to order her products on the Naked Chemist, and you will be able to order them from my podcast notes. Again, I know that my wife has already been looking at your stuff, and she will be ordering stuff, I know, and that'll be great. We will be right back right after this.
The 4 Ps of You, Expanded Edition by Trunnis Goggins, is a powerful guide to personal growth built on 4 foundational principles: purpose, planning, passion, and persistence. In this expanded edition, Goggins shares real stories of trials and tribulations, his own and those of others, to inspire readers to reflect, reset, and rise. With added insights and practical exercises, this book empowers you to navigate life's challenges, unlock your potential, and live with greater intention and impact. The 4 Ps of You is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and worldwide wherever books are sold.
Welcome back to the 4 Ps podcast. 2 things I want you to get out of this. Number 1, You know what? If you have, utilize your skills. That's number one. Utilize your skills. Here she is. She's a chemist by trade, but she loves skin products and this, that, and the other. She takes that skill and then she builds a business out of it. She doesn't just confine herself to, that's what entrepreneurs do. They utilize their resources. They do what they have to do with the resources they have, and they learn how to expand on those resources and make money off of what they have. Nothing is wasted in a true entrepreneur. No skill, no anything. I mean, they will use anything to make sure that things are they just, nothing's wasted. I'll just stop right there. I can't go any further. Number two, what I want you to get out of this story. I did want her to touch on her relationship with her former partner. The reason why I wanted her to touch on that is not because, oh my gosh, you got to feel sorry. Things you got to watch out for, okay? You have to watch out for the signs, okay? I don't care if you're male, female, whatever, doesn't matter. What type of relationship you're in, you have to watch out for signs of abuse. And one of the signs of abuse, when you start seeing that, when you start seeing isolation, okay? When you start seeing isolation from others, that's when you know, okay? Or that's when you should be, I don't want to say that's when you know. I want you to think that's when you should have that red flag up. You should be aware. Okay? Whatever you bring into a relationship is there to enhance a relationship with others. You don't have to give it up. Okay? So always remember that. I don't care if it's a romantic relationship. I don't care if it's just a regular friendship. I don't care if it is a professional relationship. Because sometimes in professional relationships, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of bosses out there that will take that stuff away from you. I'll never forget when I was just got out of the Navy, I had a job, very short job. I didn't have that job for long at all. I was working for a college, and the college I was working for, I'm not going to give the name of the college because you know what, the college is gone, and rightfully so, it should be. But I'll never forget, I was actually working on my, almost done with my master's at the time, and I was getting my master's to go on to get my doctorate. And I had to go to class one day, and I already told the people when I started working there, hey, listen, I'm working on my master's degree and this, that, and the other, and so, hey, you know, I'm going to need to have this day off, and I forgot what it was, like Thursday or something like that, whatever. But anyway, I'll never forget my boss saying, you're not going to need that because you're here now. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. It was the very next day I left that job because you know what? What I saw, I sensed that if I don't have that, that means if I don't have that, I'm always going to be there now. And that's the thing. Whenever you hear something where I'm all you need, I got you, get away because you don't want anybody to got you. That's the truth. I don't care. You want people to be with you, and you want people to work with you, and you want people to grow with you, but you never want someone to got you, because once they got you, it's true. They're not lying to you. They got you, and you don't want that to ever be the case. You need to have that freedom to grow. You need to have that freedom to grow with others, though. Don't get me wrong, but you need to have that freedom to grow. Once people start taking away your resources, your assets, your skills, and they start minimizing that, so you become dependent on either that business or that person or something like that, you got a problem, get the hell out of there as soon as you can. All right, and I am not kidding you. Never let anybody minimize your resources. You got to go. Never let that happen. And that is one thing I want you to pick up on. And sometimes we don't even pick up on it until it's too late. In Samantha's case, if you listen to her, she's a very independent, very strong, very entrepreneurial minded, she is a strong person. But even in there, it just slowly creeps in and it gets you. I know that people use the analogy of putting a frog in a water and then turning up the water until it boils and they jump out. That's not a true statement. That doesn't really happen. But in this case, I'll use this analogy, even though it is a false analogy, that if you don't be that frog that's sitting in the water, and then when it's too late, you realize it's too hot, you try to jump out, and it's too late because you're already boiled. let that happen to you. Next week, we'll be back with a friend of mine from Buffalo, New York. He was actually a friend of my father's back in the day, but we will be back with him. We are wishing our producer, Nicole Parisi, we are wishing her a very speedy recovery while she is going through knee surgery. She has knee surgery. Matter of fact, she's having knee surgery real soon. So just make sure you wish her well. She says she's going to be back in a couple days, and you know what? With modern science nowadays, I believe it as well. I believe she will be back in a couple days, but it still hurts nonetheless. So let's all keep her in our prayers. And I will see you next week. You have a great week. Bye-bye.